I'm Carol from Sunbury, Ohio.
I'm a Republican, but I don't care who does the job as long as the job gets done. That's why I like Sherrod Brown. He stood up to both parties on China and worked with Republicans to fight fentanyl because Sherrod fights for Ohio. That's leadership.
Paid for by friends of Sherrod Brown.
I'm Phil Kitramalides.
And I'm Sid Lowe.
And every week we bring you the latest from La Liga in the Spanish Football Podcast. Sid, this season's going to be amazing, isn't it?
We've got Kylian Mbappe at Real Madrid, Dani Olmo at Barcelona, and Julian Alvarez at Atletico.
Don't forget Nico Williams at Athletic Club as well.
And definitely don't forget Leganés. Their mascot is literally a giant cucumber.
Hear all about it every Monday in the Spanish Football Podcast.
Thanks for choosing this free Anfield Index podcast. If you'd prefer to listen to this or any of our other shows without adverts, then now's the time to check out Anfield Index Pro. With AI Pro, you can supercharge your entire listening experience. You'll not only get all of our podcasts without the ads, but you'll have them far faster with our Quick Publish feature available exclusively for subscribers. AI Pro also puts you in the heart of our sound studio, with an option to listen to many of our shows live and interact with the podcasters in real time as the shows are recording. Upgrading couldn't be easier. AI Pro is available on all popular podcast platforms. Just head on over to AnfieldIndexPro.com and get started today.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of your Incision Podcast. It's game week 2, the Reds winning yet again, making history in many, many ways. Another Italian team taken away. Great to have Anfield Knights, European Knights back at Anfield. And joining me as always, it's Guy Drinkel. Guy, are you ready to dissect Europe?
Always ready, especially when you've only just finished watching Match of the Day.
Your analysis better be fresh.
Yeah. I could tell you loads about Brest, whoever they placed.
Oh, good. Because that's the kind of insight and analysis that we want. Right, we're going to have to go to the first place. And, of course, we're going to talk about Liverpool. Liverpool 2, Bologna 0. Talk to me about this one team lineup as you expected.
Yeah, I maybe expected maybe a couple more changes. We've seen Tsimikas come in for a few of the midweek games, haven't we? And obviously Robbo took that heavy tackle at the weekend, so I maybe thought he'd come out for Tsimikas. Maybe one change in midfield, but there's a lot of discourse around Dom, isn't there, at the minute? But it doesn't seem to be any worry for Arne Slot. I think he recognises what Szoboszlai brings to the team. I know he's kind of critical that he needs to bring his numbers up and stuff like that, but he's obviously very much first choice. And as soon as Núñez was starting, because Jota obviously missed the 2 training sessions, didn't he? I'm not surprised Gakpo didn't start, but I would be surprised if Gakpo doesn't start against Crystal Palace, if that makes sense. So I don't think he wants too much rotation in one given position. But yeah, I think left back's probably the only actual surprise, I'd say.
I think also what probably factored into Arne Slot's choices as well was Champions League night back at Anfield. You know, and try going with the best that you can. You spoke about Szoboszlai there. Let's talk about him because he's one of those that is like dividing opinion yet again. I don't like it. I thought he had a really good game yesterday.
I thought he was phenomenal.
Yeah.
I thought he was our best player, to be honest. I know Mo got a goal and an assist, and everyone was talking up Gravenberch afterwards. But I think the only eye-catching bad moment I thought he had was that header. But why are we playing out 15-yard dinked passes for someone to head on? It seems a bit daft to me. But other than that, I thought he was magnificent. Like, the running power is just something probably the fan base takes for granted. Because we've been so used to it for basically the decade. Obviously, Henderson famed for his running power. Gini, magnificent athlete. Emre Can, kind of in a different steam train type of way. It's probably something we take for granted as a fan base. But no, the engine on him to just work and press. Like, there was times he was playing as the striker leading the press. I know it was a kind of a criticism for Darwin under Klopp that he wasn't the greatest presser, so maybe if Darwin's in the side, that's something we see from Dom, where he's the one who leads the press from that 10 position. But even that, I think he linked well with the other two midfielders. I think he linked well with Mo. I think it was tough to link with Darwin because he didn't have the best game, but we'll probably come on to him. But no, I thought he was certainly in the shout for man of the match, and he obviously didn't get the goal. He had like the one big chance in the first half, didn't he? But that could have dispelled a bit of the discussion in the fan base. But if he plays like that every week, I think the discourse around him will quieten down pretty damn quick.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I do think the link up between the midfield and the attack is more coherent, and it's nice that we're not relying on the fullbacks. And, you're right, he has got an engine on him, he's running, and he's definitely more... It's almost like what Arne Slot said about him as, like, really he's taken it on, because, like, you could really see him he was, like, trying so hard to get an assist. He was, like, putting those balls that, across the face of goal in the second half as well. He definitely was trying, and, of course, played the pass to Mohamed Salah, who scored that majestic goal. Liverpool started off really well in this one. Like, when they came out, they had that very glorious chance that no one could get on the end of. And then, Mac and that goal, that was a lovely team goal. And Núñez was actually involved in that as well. So, Liverpool go 1-0, and I'm like, oh, we're going to steamroll here. But I felt as the half progressed, Liverpool started, like, looking... I don't know, Bologna really grew into it. That's what I'm going to say. Bologna really grew into it.
Yeah, I think it was a bit of both. I think Bologna playing at Anfield, certainly for the first time in my lifetime.
I think it was the first time ever,
Yeah, it must have been. Because I think this is the first time they've played in Europe in like 60 years. Yeah. So it's obviously been a long-ass time. But yeah, it's one of those stadiums, like, I know it's fun to take the mick out of Anfield, especially by other Premier League it seems to be smaller team clubs for some reason. It's probably because obviously the atmosphere isn't great when they come to town, but that's a different time for a different podcast. It's one of those stadiums that's overwhelmed sides like Jose Mourinho's Chelsea, Barcelona. It has that effect on massive teams that have proven histories of winning. It's no surprise Bologna started off poorly because, well, we're a better side than them, not to be disrespectful, but we are. And what a place for a relatively small side to go. I know that maybe sounds a bit patronising, but if you're a football, who was it last year when... was it... No, it was when we were in the Europa League. It was the Union players. Remember when they celebrated because they get to go to Anfield? Like, you probably won't be surprised if Bologna were a bit like that. But yeah, they definitely grew into it. But at the same time, as they improved, I think and I know our whole thing is playing out from the back, but I think we did become a bit arrogant in terms of playing out from the back. And I think what differentiates us from, say, Man City, they've basically perfected it under Pep for however many years now. We're still kind of in the baby stages of it, and we have seen we're not afraid to go long still, which I think is something we need because we have Trent, we have Van Dijk, they're all capable of these 80-yard passes that are just
fantastic. Right, the goalie as well.
Oh, absolutely. Alisson loves an assist. Yeah. Whereas in that last 20 minutes or so, we were, like, as I mentioned with that Szoboszlai header, we're playing dinked passes like 15 yards out, trying to play on from headers. Now, it was a crap header, but that's just something that I don't think a competent side would do. It just seemed we were playing out for very little reason, when if we just went a bit more direct, we'd probably taken half their team out the game. I think it was a bit of arrogance from us, but fair play to them. They basically grappled the game back from us, and for 20-odd minutes, they had us kind of camped in our half for a little bit, didn't they?
Yeah, there were some scary moments. I can't lie. There was definitely some wake-up moments. I'm like, okay, you're going to get up now. And obviously it didn't quite happen. And luckily, nothing came of their chances. But yeah, I'm with you on that. And I think there's been a lot of talk as well that Liverpool are very easy to kind of play through the middle, which is really, really bizarre and alarming considering, you got Gravenberch playing there and Mac as well, and obviously Szoboszlai. Maybe it's just a case of, is it positional awareness? Is it space between the midfielders and defence? Is that something that we need to work on? Because against better opposition and, more pace, Liverpool will be punished there.
Yeah, I think it's weird because Gravenberch's been phenomenal. But at the same time, it's like, is he I know he's getting these tackle numbers and things like that, but it's like I don't associate that with like a defensive midfielder. I think we used to, but nowadays I think you just look at when you try and define it with stats and stuff. It's the one position you probably can't with stats because I think it's all about spatial awareness.
Yeah,
as you mentioned. Whereas I think we've seen this season we've only lost one bloody game. It works until it doesn't, if you get what I mean, which is a stupid statement and simple statement. But as soon as Mac or Gravenberch, because they're working really well in tandem, but neither of them are defensive-minded. Like, they're both intelligent players, but neither of them are naturally defensive-minded. Yeah. And as soon as it goes wrong, it's like panic stations. So I think if, like, both their pressing is on it, it works perfectly fine. But as soon as there's like one mistake, it's like almost similar to last year where we had, especially the last third of the season or second half of the season, we just simply had no midfield protection at all, did we? And certainly the year before, it was like 10 times worse. So I think as good as McAllister and Gravenberch have been, I think we are still missing that defensive midfielder. Now, that doesn't mean the fix is clearly just buying someone. I still want that player, but I think that might be at the result of Endo leaving, rather than taking chances away from Gravenberch. But I think the best way to word it, and a lot of people saying this, is Gravenberch still feels like an 8 playing as a 6, which is exciting because if we do get an actual defensive midfielder, imagine Gravenberch with slightly less defensive responsibility.
Yeah,
it's interesting. I mean, what do you make of it? Because you've obviously,
I think it gives him the license to move forward, right? Because all the first chance that we created, it was him on a mad run.
Yeah,
and I think that'll give him more license. I'm with you. I know he's growing into this role, but I'm not. And he's doing well, but I'm still not sold because I like somebody who has positional awareness, spatial awareness, somebody that actually knows the role. I also want the space between the midfield and defence to be a bit tighter. That guy just shielding, like he used to have Fabinho, even like on the counter when we used to have Gini Wijnaldum, he used to like stop us from being hit on the break. Like just knowing what you need to do. This is all new. I'm not gonna. It's working well right now, but against like say a team like Man City.
Yeah, we played Chelsea just after the international.
Yeah, Chelsea again, who have got a plethora of attackers and who like to run at you. I mean, like Cole Palmer and such players. So that's where I think that's where the real test is going to begin, because after international break, that's when we have like the tough running of fixtures.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where we'll figure it out. But I agree with you. I don't think he fancies Endo. I think he's going to have to go in for somebody else. I know there's a lot of talk and a lot of rumours. We've seen a lot of articles, circulating. Let's see what happens with that one. But Gravenberch, so far, he's doing well with McAllister. But I just think if you actually get somebody who's actually holding that position, you're actually making yourself better, because what you're doing is you're allowing a player like Gravenberch. And also as well, people are saying, and I've seen like the Under Pressure guys and people tweet things, and I think I heard it on Raw as well, that Gravenberch, I mean, like, this will be like the most minutes he's played.
Yeah.
And that's, you got to think about the long game, injuries, managing minutes, the whole managing the Euro, managing the Europe, managing the league. We're still in, the FA Cup's going to start soon. We're in the League Cup. There's a lot to manage, and we need the players in it. And the area where we're light is, in my opinion, is midfield. So it's a concern in that regard.
But at the same time, I mean, it's weird because I don't think we're being negative about Gravenberch.
No, he's grown so much, but
yeah, it's just weird because I just loved Fabinho so much, and it felt like such a big moment when we went from having no defensive midfielder for like basically the best part of a decade to him coming in and transforming the midfield. I always, as I mentioned with the playing out from the back, it's almost like getting used to football again, because this is so different in many different ways to Klopp. Like it's not a full 180, but there is things we're going to have to get used to. But
yeah,
I hope. If we don't address it in January, I mean, Gravenberch's by far the best option there, especially in tandem with Mac, because in basically every game this season, we've seen both of them play the 6, we've seen both of them play the 8, and it's just building that partnership. Now, by the end of the season, I mean, they both might be fantastic defensively as it goes on, and then we maybe think, all right, we'll just be patient with Bicetic, or Tyler Morton might grow into the season, or McConnell might come back, or whatever. But it'd be nice to have that option who is a natural defensive midfielder, because at the same time, I mean, I think it was one of the comparisons when we bought him was Yaya Toure. And we saw the development of Yaya Toure when he got a bit more freedom in his game, because he went from being a centre-back at Barcelona to a midfielder, and then at Man City he just became the most monstrous number 10 anyone's ever seen. Now, I don't think he'll be replacing Szoboszlai in that role anytime soon, but if we can build him more freedom in the games he plays as the more attacking 8, or more balanced 8, or whatever the hell you want to call it, it is phenomenal, because when he carries the ball, it's not something we've seen as a club. I don't think ever. I mean, Thiago did it at times, but I don't think we've ever seen someone who carries the ball like that. Like Gerrard could carry the ball, but Gerrard was very different, obviously. It's something I don't think we've ever really seen.
No, it has been a long while since we've actually seen that kind of ball carrier. And yeah, I agree with you, because not only and I think also the whole Gravenberch and McAllister combination works really well with the centre-backs as well. Because they are quick as well. So, they have that advantage on other, sort of centre-backs that we do have. I think Konate is quicker than Kwanzaa.
Oh, God, yeah. I think Van der Ven's probably the only quick one.
That's a combination, then, it's very interesting. So I agree with you. I think we do need a specialist, but the patient build-up play is something that we all have to kind of get used to, and us being less direct. But it's nice because it kind of gives us another headache for opposition, because it's not, we're not as predictable. Let's move on to the second half. You can have a rant about the ref in a minute. In the second half, I thought we played better. I thought we upped the intensity. I thought Mo Salah was actually getting more and more involved in the game, in my opinion. He had a chance, but wasn't his best game. He did get an assist, like you said, in the first half. That goal that he scored, I mean, wow. He was just like, you know what? I'm just going to take this ball. And it was just a vintage Mo Salah finish in front of the cup. Makes him the highest scoring African in the competition. Another day, another year, and another Mo Salah record broken.
I don't need a VPN. I've got nothing to hide. This is what I used to tell myself before I hooked up with LibertyShield.com. Not only is my home internet now fully encrypted, but I can now access all the websites I want, whenever I want, and do so from absolutely anywhere. As a Liverpool fan, I love to know I can now watch every match, regardless of whether it's on UK TV or not. My Liberty Shield VPN makes sure nothing is blocked and guarantees me super fast streaming speed throughout that match. You can get connected right now with their software package, which includes a 48-hour no-obligation free trial and instant access to their apps for Apple, Android, Fire TV, PC, Mac and Android TV. Or go a step further like I have and get one of their pre-configured VPN routers. These small but powerful devices allow you to easily connect every device in your home to VPN, making it the perfect solution for smart TVs, Mac boxes and games consoles. Visit LibertyShield.com today and use coupon code AIVPN25 to get 25% off at checkout.
It's weird how Mo Salah is crap and finished, isn't it? It's weird, that, isn't it? When he keeps breaking records every other bloody week. No.
That's Didier Drogba, by the way, listeners, in case you didn't know. So, yeah.
I found it funny when I saw that stat, and I was like, Drogba wasn't that big time a goal scorer in the Premier League, and then was the highest African scorer. It's like, yeah, that makes sense because he just turned up for every big occasion, didn't he? So
It's flat out everything, didn't he, mate?
yeah. God, I hated him. He ruined my childhood. Anyway, yeah, Mo Salah's fantastic. Like as you said, not the cleanest game, but if he had every game having a goal and an assist, I mean, he'd make me regret taking him on my FPL. That would be the first thing I'd say. Yeah, he's just a machine. He's almost... It's weird, isn't it? I think Dave made this point on Raw last night. The development's so weird, isn't it? He's almost become like the opposite of Ronaldo. Like, when Ronaldo kind of went to Real Madrid, or certainly the latter half of his time at Real Madrid, all he did was score goals. Whereas Mo Salah's kind of, all he used to do was score goals. And now he's this complete footballer who just creates chances every game. He started dribbling more, which is probably something that's come from Slot, obviously. But he's not really lost. Like, I don't think we're going to see him get those first-year numbers again where he got 32 or 33 in the league. But I don't think it'd surprise anyone if he gets, like, 20 and 15 or 15 and 15 easily for the next few years. And it's just a damn shame about the contract situation. But again, another time, another place. But no, he's basically irreplaceable.
I also like the whole record for Arne Slot as well, winning 8 out of 9. I can so tell he's so triggered by that loss to Nottingham Forest. It really bothers him. If you want to hit a pressure point, just mention that game to him. I think he thinks about it and has sleepless nights. But I like his response that I hope I'm not remembered for that, and there's bigger things coming. I also like the fact that he said the only thing I kind of enjoyed from that performance was the 2 goals. I like the fact that the bar has been set so high. I like the fact that he set the bar so high for himself, more importantly.
Yeah, and I think that's a good thing, because coming in and replacing Klopp, I mean, look at the other big rebuilds. I know it's hard to compare to, like, Wenger and Fergie and stuff like that, but it always felt like they were coming in and trying to even just get close to the levels that were there. I think Wenger was a bit different because Arsenal had already fallen off with Wenger there. Whereas, like, Moyes at United was like, I literally just have to try and get anywhere close. Whereas Slots came in and went, yeah, we can do better. We can do better than what Klopp was doing. And it's not anything disrespectful. It's just about demanding the level and demanding, let's be honest, these world-class players who, I'm not saying going to underperform because there's circumstances why we haven't won as much as possibly we should have. But, I mean, Klopp would actually praise players in press conferences. I think to get praise from Arne Slot, I don't know what you'd have to do. I don't know, buy him a birthday present or clean his house or something like that. It seems that way. It's just, I love it. It's kind of, that is the full 180 from Klopp, isn't it? Because I think people made the comparison before. It's almost Rafa-like, where you're just so demanding. But I think we kind of need that.
We do. We absolutely do. And I think it sets the tone for him. It sets the tone for the players. And I think it also sets the tone for the fans as well, that we're getting something completely, kind of similar but different at the same time. So it's not too much of like a culture shock to, like how the players are used to. But obviously he is demanding very different things from them. Mm-hmm. Do you want to have your last little rant on the referee? Because I felt like he was a bit tricky with the cards.
He looked lost from minute one, didn't he? I think he was from Montenegro. He should probably cut his teeth in the Europa Conference League and stuff before getting games in the Champions League. Now it's tough because there's 7,000 games on in midweek, and you got to start getting referees from more and more different places. But yeah, it's hard. Because you kind of understand why someone who referees in that league can be overawed by a Champions League occasion. And as I mentioned, Anfield, yada, yada, yada. Yeah, he just looked like that. The yellow card for Ibu. That if you're giving yellow cards to them two for it wasn't even grappling. It was just little. It was basically playing party kit with each other. You'd have 5 red cards a game. You can't be doing that. And the Simicast one, that was a joke as well. No, I think hopefully he improves if we ever have him again. But maybe Europa competitions just to get used to the higher level for him.
That is a really nice assessment of the referee. You did really well there, Guy. Yeah.
It's still early. It's still early in my day, so I'll be nice to it.
Yep, I think I think overall what we can say is a really good result for Liverpool, getting it under your belt. Great for Arne Slot as well, and the team, and everything counts. Keeping a clean sheet as well, because this whole competition and format now, you're looking at everything. Everything matters. So, your only gripe might be, I wish we scored more goals.
Yeah, but at the same time, I'm kind of just happy we kept a clean sheet.
Yep.
That's the main thing for me.
Love it. Love the positivity, Guy Drinkel. Right, we're going to move on to another Premier League team. Let's talk about the shock. Aston Villa 1, Bayern Munich 0. Wow. I mean, that's a shocker. European football back at Villa Park. They beat Young Boys. They beat the might of Bayern Munich. It was a very, very fascinating game because I really loved the little duel or the little rivalry between Upamecano and Watkins. I thought Watkins was having the better of him.
Oh God, yeah. I think Upamecano's terrible.
We definitely got the better defender from Leipzig.
Oh God, we wouldn't. Well, I think we would have already replaced him, to be honest. I've never, even from his Leipzig days, I know Kanate had a lot of injury issues in that time. It's just always watching him, I was like, how he's ended up at one of the elite clubs. He's a mess. He was lucky not to get sent off twice, I think.
The first one should have been a yellow as well, in my opinion.
I think that could be a straight red. He's clean through one goal. He had no intention of playing the ball, and he's just stopped him running on in for a 1v1. I think he could have been sent off twice, potentially, but he's awful. He is god-awful. But the thing is, Nina, obviously, is it a surprise? I mean, I know Bayern Munich have had a really good start to the season, but last season they finished 3rd. I believe that, I presume, the top of the Bundesliga now, but how strong is the Bundesliga? Stuttgart kind of got butchered in the summer, didn't they? So it's hard to tell with them. But yeah, I wasn't really shocked with it. I saw the stats, and Bayern Munich looked like the better team, and Emi Martinez was probably one of the best players. But I was not. It wasn't a big.
They drew over the weekend, didn't they, to Leverkusen? But overall, the floodgates in terms of goals have been pretty open in the league. I know the competition wasn't overly great in the Champions League, but I don't know, maybe expect a little bit more from them. But I guess we have to give credit to Martinez, right? Because he produced great saves in that game.
Yeah, he's such a... And it's always funny. I know David Ray has become really good now, but the fact that Arsenal sold him and then it basically tried to replace him in so many different ways. He's just a top-tier goalkeeper. I'd probably say top 3, certainly top 5. But in terms of the league, I think he's only second to Alisson, which is, he's just excellent. And we saw it in the World Cup. But he's so good at making those clutch saves, isn't he? He's just phenomenal.
I mean, even the one right at the end, right? Save on the Harry Kane header, just great reflexes to kind of get to that.
Yeah.
You've just kind of highlighted that you were a bit not shocked at Bayern Munich not winning. I think we have to also give props to Aston Villa because they conceded 2 against Everton. They conceded 2 against Luton Town in the league. So a big thing for them to keep a clean sheet as well. But can we talk about the striker of the moment, the super sub, Duran?
I'd love that, man. It's just thing is, we've seen him. We saw little bits and bobs last season, and I think they signed him in January the season before, if I remember correctly. But he's just taken football by storm. Never mind the league, but that goal's phenomenal. Like, I think Neuer might have been slightly drunk, which isn't great. But that finish, that quick finish, it's so clever, and it's probably more difficult than it looks. But yeah, he's just absolutely fantastic. And yeah, he's going to be a superstar in football if he keeps it up.
I think so as well, and I think a lot of people are already sniffing around him. So yeah, watch the space with that one. Right, I think Aston Villa are just absolutely buzzing with that. 2 wins against Bayern Munich at home as well. The fans will be very up for this competition. I think it's a fantastic result for Aston Villa, and their fans are probably ecstatic with that one. Let's see what Bayern Munich are made up after this now. It'll be very interesting to see what Vincent Kompany does. Right, let's move on to another one. I think this one seemed like a really fun game. RB Leipzig 2, Juventus 3. A lot going on in this one. I mean, Benjamin Sesko scores first, and then Vlahovic equalises. And then there's some VAR drama. Juve goalie denies a goal-scoring opportunity, gets sent off. Leipzig get a free kick. It hits I think Douglas Luiz's arm. He has to go back to VAR. It's a penalty, lots of drama, and then obviously Sesko scores. And then Vlahovic gets the equaliser, and then, right at the end, Salah wins it. This game seemed like fun.
Yeah, it was probably, it's just a shame. But so I know it's always annoying when you try to watch multiple games, and I had the Liverpool one on the TV, and I had Villa on my laptop, and I was then saw the results at the end, and we've missed a generational game. It
just seemed like a really fun game, and I was talking about this when I looked into the schedule, that if I wasn't a local fan, I'd probably watch that one,
Oh yeah, I don't. Cause it's fun, isn't it? Because I think Juve. Let me look. I don't think they're top.
Second, I think now.
I've got the Champions League standings for some reason. Yeah, I think because they have gone like such a long spell without conceding a goal, haven't they? And then to be losing a Leipzig 2-1, it's almost like you're thinking, oh, is Serie A that good? But to come back with 10 men with your goalkeeper getting sent off is just, yeah, it almost feels like they've justified the changing of the format with stuff like this.
Yeah.
These are the games that are fun, because I think if this was, you're going to play Leipzig again in a month or whatever, it'd be like, it won't be that exciting. But this feels like a nice one-off, doesn't it? And yeah, it looked like a fantastic game. I mean, Sesko, I know one of them's a penalty, but he feels like one of those next breakthrough strikers, doesn't he?
He does.
You could probably say the same against Vlahovic. I know Vlahovic has already had a big money move to Juventus, but it's not really gone great for him. But I think we discussed it last podcast, didn't we? We're kind of overdue a Serie A side doing really well in Europe. I know.
You really are. It needs to happen. It might be your hipster team, Atlanta, but we'll get to them in a minute. But yeah, fantastic result for Juventus back in the Champions League as well after, for a spell. And they have been quite underwhelming in this competition, let's be honest. So yeah, good for them. Let's move on to the next shock. Lille 1, Real Madrid 0. Maybe this is their only lurgy result and performance. I don't think they were overly great against Stuttgart as well in the first game, but my word, Mbappe on the bench. I think there was probably a little injury or niggle there. And kind of, this phase reminded me a lot of the Juventus game where, Lille win with a free kick. It hits Camavinga on the arm, has to go back to the ref, and gives a penalty, and Jonathan David scores and buries it past Lunin before half-time. I think for me, the biggest thing in all this is, with all that power and all that attack with Real Madrid, props to Lille for holding on.
Thing is, it didn't look... I think Chevalier, I think that's how we pronounce the goalkeeper's name, he didn't seem... I think he made a couple good saves, but it didn't, from the highlights anyway, it might have been different watching the entire game, but it didn't feel like they were under siege. Like, I might be wrong with that, but I know... Did Mbappe didn't start, did he?
No, he was on the bench, came on there.
Yeah. I mean, but at the same time, other than that, it's basically that's the first team minus Courtois and Mbappe. So,
Thanks for choosing this free Anfield Index podcast. If you'd prefer to listen to this or any of our other shows without adverts, then now's the time to check out Anfield Index Pro. With AI Pro, you can supercharge your entire listening experience. You'll not only get all of our podcasts without the ads, but you'll have them far faster with our Quick Publish feature available exclusively for subscribers. AI Pro also puts you in the heart of our sound studio, with an option to listen to many of our shows live and interact with the podcasters in real time as the shows are recording. Upgrading couldn't be easier. AI Pro is available on all popular podcast platforms. Just head on over to AnfieldIndexPro.com and get started today.
it's a massive result for Lille.
Hey guys, it's Eddie Gibbs from Anfield Index here. I hope you're enjoying this podcast, and I'm sorry to call time on the show before it ends. In the current climate, it's tougher than ever before to offer podcasts for free. At Anfield Index, we produce over 75 free shows every month, which I'm confident is unparalleled in the LFC sphere. Whilst we'd love to offer everything for free, the production costs now make this impossible. That said, we don't want to follow the model of other channels and lock all of our content behind a paywall. So what we've decided to do is to continue offering every show for free, but cut that offering to 30 minutes on our longer shows. So to get all of our shows in full and enjoy the best of everything we have to offer, we really hope you'll consider supporting the channel and signing up at AnfieldIndexPro.com. For about the price of 1 cup of coffee, you'll get every podcast in full with 0 ads. You'll also get access to our LFC VIP community, where you can enjoy live podcasts, engage with our podcasters, and chat with other Reds in real time. So that website again, AnfieldIndexPro.com. Join today.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.